Nowadays, screen printing can no longer be deleted from any kind of printing industry. In the garment industry, many different types of prints, such as high density, discharge and foil print, to name only a few, are based on the concept of screen printing. Before the actual printing process begins, a screen has to be made. Silk mesh fabric has to be stretched over a wooden and metal frame. The mesh count, which is measured in threads per square inch, plays an important role. The finer the detail of the design, the higher the screen mesh count should be. Very strong glue has to be applied to the frame so it doesn't get out of place. The frame needs to be cut out of the excess mesh, and an even coat of light-sensitive emulsion will be scooped onto the screen. Then it will go for drying. Each color of the design requires an individual screen. The color separation is done on a computer and printed onto transparent sheets. Every single sheet will be placed on an individual screen and exposed to very strong light in an exposure unit. The dark areas in the form positive will prevent light from passing through and exposing the screen. The light will pass through clear areas of the foam positive and harden the emulsion. This becomes a bit clearer after rinsing the screen. The emulsion will only wash out the soft areas, which later on will be printed. Now the screen is ready, the printing press can be set. Each screen of the design will be placed on the press head. Light colors first, in a sequence to the darkest color, usually black is last. Even though it is a well-proven and established technique, today there are faster and better ways of making screens. Inkjet engraver machines can print the image to a screen with special ink and expose the screen directly without a film. It's a quick computer-to-screen process, so the inkjet engraving is fast in speed, low in cost and high in quality. In its basic form, discharge is a clear ink with an activator added, which causes the dyes in the fabric to be deactivated. Mainly used on dark garments, printing a straight discharge ink typically bleaches the fabric down to its natural color, a slightly off-white. The hand feel of the print will be very soft, since there is no additional ink used. Foil and block printing are based on the same initial steps. Instead of ink, glue is being laid on the garment through the screen. After heating it up, the glue will develop its adhesive nature and short fibers of natural or synthetic material are sprinkled over the printed area. This adds a velvet or suede-like texture to the surface. Same as flock. Foil sticks to the adhesive only, leaving a shiny metallic sheen to the design that cannot be achieved with standard screen printed inks. High-density printing is another technique that can be done on the base of screen printing. It is a popular special effect that rises straight up off the shirt and has a hard rubbery feel with sharp edges and a glossy finish. To get these effects, about 20% of puff base is mixed with colored ink. Then it is printed in 5 to 8 rounds, depending upon the height that is required. For every next round, it needs to be flashed and dried. Sublimation is a process by which sublimation dyes are printed onto a transfer medium, such as heat-sensitive paper. This paper will be placed onto a panel or even a stitched garment. Under the influence of heat and pressure, delivered by a conventional heat press, dyes from the paper will be transferred to the fabric. Only polyester fabrics can be used for sublimation printing, since during the actual printing process, the ink will fully absorb into the polyester. Basically, the print becomes a part of the fabric. Even though it is relatively expensive, the benefits like excellent color fastness, everlasting durability, and extremely high printing quality are striking and making customers go for it. Digital printing, or so-called direct-to-garment printing, is a relatively new technology. The printer being used is basically a huge version of a conventional desktop inkjet printer. The printer will print the graphic directly onto the fabric, printing a single pass of CMYK ink for a light-colored fabric and 2 passes for a dark-colored fabric. Customized all-over prints, but also smaller print designs, can be generated very quickly, straight from a PDF or Adobe Illustrator file. There will be no screen making, messy cleanup, and no color or minimum quantity limitations.